Hey everyone. So, we all know AI can write code like crazy, right? It's fast. But speed isn't the whole story. The real trick, the thing we're all trying to figure out, is how to make that AI act like a real, seasoned, professional software engineer. Today, we're going to dig into a really cool system designed to do exactly that, to build some discipline right into our AI coding partners.
And this really is the big question, isn't it? I mean, it's one thing to get an AI to spit out a quick function for you. It's a whole other ballgame to have an AI that actually understands the project's history, that makes thoughtful, long-term decisions, and, get this, knows when it needs to stop and ask for help. We're talking about going from a simple tool to a genuine teammate. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at the overall system that keeps this whole thing from going off the rails. Then we'll break down the three big ideas that make it work: recording absolutely everything, thinking like an architect, and, this one's huge, partnering up with a human. And finally, we'll pull back and think about what this all means for the way we build things. So, how do we get this sanity? Well, the answer is a method called spec-driven development. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a constitution for the AI. It's not about holding it back. It's about giving it a super clear, strict framework that guides every single action toward professional, high-quality work. And this right here perfectly proves the point. Look, you're giving the exact same operating manual to two totally different AI models. It doesn't matter if it's Claude or Qwen or whatever comes next. The magic isn't in the specific AI you pick. It's all about the rigorous, disciplined system you force it to follow. That's the secret sauce. So let's properly define this thing. Spec-driven development, or SDD. At its heart, it's just a system where the AI has to play by some very strict rules. It's like a three-legged stool. Number one, every single thing has to be documented. Number two, every big decision has to be smart from an architectural standpoint. And number three, the whole process has to be a team effort. Okay, let's jump into that first principle, because this one is a game changer. The AI must record everything. I'm talking about an obsessive, flawless, searchable memory of the entire project, right from the very beginning. And this isn't just a friendly suggestion, it's a core command. The rule is totally clear. Record every single user input word for word. No summarizing, no cutting things short. Every prompt is saved exactly as it was written. This creates this incredible, unchangeable audit trail of every conversation. These records are called prompt history records, or PHRs. And the power here is just immense. Just think about it. You're 6 months deep in a project, and you can instantly pull up the exact prompt from day 10 that led to some weird feature. You get the entire conversation, the code, everything. It creates this perfect memory that just kills any confusion about, wait, why did we do this again? And this isn't just a messy brain dump. The AI follows this strict 4-step routine for every single message from the user. First, it figures out what kind of work is happening. Then, it creates a title and files it in the right place. Then, and this is crucial, it fills out a detailed template with all the context, the full prompt, the AI's answer, and a list of every single file that got changed. Finally, it saves and double-checks the record. It's like an automated, super organized journal. And this shows you how smart that filing system is. The AI doesn't just throw all these records into one big folder. Nope, it acts like a librarian. Conversations about the project's big rules, they go in the Constitution folder. Working on a new login feature, that gets its own folder. Everything else goes into general. It is automated organization at its finest. Okay, so the AI has a perfect memory. That's huge. But what about judgment? Well, that brings us to principle number 2, architect deliberately. This is the part that turns the AI from just a code monkey into a real strategic partner. See, this system forces the AI to think about the future. When a really big decision comes up, like, picking a database or a major framework, it doesn't just pick one and move on. It actually pauses and uses something called an architectural decision record, or ADR, to write down the why behind the choice, for everyone to see forever. So, how does the AI even know if a decision is significant enough for all this paperwork? Well, it runs a simple 3-part test. First, does this have long-term consequences? Second, were there other real options on the table? And third, is this decision going to affect a bunch of different parts of the project? If it's a yes to all three, boom, it knows it's time to suggest creating one of these records.
And this is literally what you, the user, would see. The AI proactively flags it and asks for your permission to document it. And notice that little question mark, document? The system's rules are non-negotiable on this. The AI must get the user's okay. It never just does it. It suggests, it advises, but the human always has the final say.
All right, on to our third principle, which honestly might be the most important one of all. Because after all this talk about rules and automated processes, this system is built on one core idea. The AI should not and cannot work alone.
They call it the human as tool strategy. And it's such a cool way of thinking about it, because it totally flips the script. Usually, we think of the AI as our tool, but in this system, the AI is programmed to see you, the human user, as its specialized tool, a resource it has to use whenever it's confused or needs to make a call that requires real-world experience. And there are specific triggers that make the AI stop and ask for help. If your request is kind of vague, it's programmed to ask for more detail, not just guess. If it's coding and finds some weird dependency it didn't expect, it tells you immediately. If there's a fork in the road with a big architectural choice, it lays out the options for you. This isn't the AI failing. This is the partnership working exactly like it's supposed to. So we've got the three pillars: perfect recall, deliberate architecture, and this deep human partnership. Let's pull it all together now. What's the end result of all this? What does a project built this way actually look like? What you get is a project that is just beautifully organized and totally self-documenting. You can see you get this clean file structure, a constitution file for your main principles, separate spec files for each feature, and these priceless history folders that hold the project's entire memory and all its key decisions. The payoff here is huge. A brand new developer could join your team and get up to speed in no time. And that's the whole point, right? When you weave these three principles together, you end up with software that doesn't just work. You get software that is understandable, that is maintainable, and that has a crystal clear history of how it was built. This is a system designed for the long haul, not just for a quick launch. Which leaves us with one final big question to chew on. We've just walked through a blueprint for turning a fast, sometimes chaotic coder into a disciplined, reliable teammate. It's a system that values memory and judgment just as much as it values raw speed. So, is this the future? Is this kind of disciplined partnership the new standard for how we're going to build, well, everything with AI? It's a pretty powerful idea to think about.